Hello, Canucks fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Canucks Conversation, delivered to you by the great folks at Montana's.
Oh.
You could give us a ding-dong for Montana's.
Nah, no ding-dongs.
You're going to ring the bell when you show up to Montana's.
Oh.
That's right. You're going to ring the bell. I don't know if there's a bell at Montana's. If you find one, go ahead and ring one. Because Montana's has the daily deals right now. We talked about it yesterday, talking about it again today. Thursday, drink deals and specials. Thursday and every day.
They call it Thirsty Thursday over there.
That's right. Is that what they call it? Or is that what we're calling it? Regardless.
Streets are talking. Look at that. All day drink deals.
That's right. Regardless.
You show up there at 8 a.m, yeah. Put a couple of Caesars back, I guess. I don't
know. Regardless, we've talked about Montana's before. You can head over there, find the smoke-prepared, grilled in-house meats. They got lots. They got the ribs. I'm partial to the ribs. What did we have that time? Spinach dip.
Spin dip.
Yeah, that was
spin dip.
Delicious. Certified smoke masters and grill masters in-house. Be sure to go check out Montana's. My name's Dave Quadrelli.
Okay, whatever. Do this, and then I got a Montana story for you.
I'm joined, as always, by the man who built the place, who has a Montana story for us, I'm told. Chris Faber, our technical producer, is Aaron Bordato, a name you can trust.
Still got a little sniffles. I'm over it, though. I'm not going to let myself be sick.
So what about your Montana stories?
So back in the day, I'll tell you, Montana's, we used to do this thing. They had all you could eat. It was all you could eat ribs and tacos. You got to choose either or. And we went there this one time. We were probably there for like 6 hours straight. They cut us off. They cut us off of the tacos at one point because we were sitting there for 6 hours watching football. Right. So there's a 6 hour time limit, I guess, to the all you can eat. They probably dropped it down after a little bit too, because we probably had about 18 tacos. And I don't know how many pitchers, like I said, they got Stella there. Stella on tap. You're not a beer guy, though, so you wouldn't get it. But Stella on tap. Montana's in Nanaimo, too. The one in Nanaimo, it's sitting up on this beautiful, it's at Rutherford Mall. Everybody knows in Nanaimo if you're listening here. It's up in Rutherford Mall. Beautiful, facing out onto this little marsh. You can see Mount Benson from there. Just a great little setup on Montana. You go outside. That's one of the nicer patios in Nanaimo. People always ask me when they go to Nanaimo, what's a good patio to go to? It's actually Montana's, sneakily, because
I thought it was the old house that you lived in.
Well, back in the day, some of the patios I had in my houses, back then that was
with
good.
The kiddie pools.
Yeah, better views than I have here, so that's for sure. But the Montana's, the patio, beautiful outside there. It's also big in there too. I think they have a car in the corner of that Nanaimo Montana's.
Okay.
Nobody knows whose car it is or how it got there, but it's I think it's there.
I'm sure someone knows. Okay, we're gonna get to the Canucks stuff in a sec.
No,
I quickly want to touch on
some stuff I got yesterday.
Okay.
Some stuff I did. I brought you the prop in here too. You got a prop for today's show.
Well, yeah, but we don't have to talk about it right away.
Yeah, we do.
What about the podcast?
Non-hockey stuff.
I know. Okay.
So I went to Value Village yesterday. Look at, you're on YouTube right now. So I went to Value Village yesterday, just looking for anything with a Canucks thing on it, and I got a Roberto Luongo figure. Beautiful. The glove moves, the helmet moves, the blocker moves. This thing is $10.
Before Ian Clark was his coach, and he was allowed to have these dark pads.
Can you show the back of it? Something about the jersey number is really weird. I don't know if this is a misprint or what's going on here.
I just saw that.
The jersey number on the back, it is a mess. You can't really see because of the net there, but you can sort of see it. It's tough that somebody screwed up. Somebody got fired for this. So I think there's a misprint. It's going to be worth a lot of money.
He's contorting his body in a way that...
$9.99. I did because I donated a bunch of clothes yesterday to Value Village. Did a big, because every Christmas I get a bunch of random clothes. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to throw out some of my old random clothes from Christmas. So I gave them, or not throw them, I donated them. Super easy. Went through a little drive-through. Guy sitting there, gave me a bucket, dumped everything in the bucket. He wheeled it in. See you later. 20% off. I got that for $8.
Wow.
But that wasn't even the best buy of the day because people know I love my Pokemon. I got a Pokeball. I bought a Pokeball at Value Village.
I was very excited when I saw that
this thing's huge. It's a legit, I got big hands. I got big, meaty hands.
I wish I screenshotted the picture you sent me.
I saved it. This thing is huge. Pull me up. Look at the size of this thing.
Okay. Podcast listeners, it's about the size of Faber's head.
It is
the best way.
It's about the size of your head for sure. Not quite my head, but definitely your head. So I had a great day. And you know what else we got? Got my fiance. She got a BC Lions shirt. So roar Lions roar, roar Lions roar. We're huge Lions fans in this house now. So she's got a Lions shirt. So it was a hell of a day off at Value Village. So I had a hell of a day.
Okay. I wanted to quickly get this in. It's not hockey related.
Oh, one more thing. Yesterday I went to Walmart as well to get some groceries, and we talked about this off air. I had the spicy McNuggets yesterday.
Okay.
They
And
sucked. They weren't good at all.
oh, okay. Well, I'm glad we didn't pay for
And it
them.
wasn't even a game day, so I couldn't get a $3 Big Mac. So don't get
That's tough.
tough day at the McDonald's, but I had a good day at Valley Village. Donated a lot of stuff and a bunch of. If I'm being honest, hopefully my mom's not listening. I don't think she does listen. She got me this Star Wars syrup kit for Christmas. Donated. I didn't even open the box. I said, listen, I watched Star Wars once. I watched the series once one weekend, and I just didn't really like it. I watched all the movies in one weekend. I just didn't really like it.
Yeah,
and I was like, what am I going to do with these different flavored of Star Wars
There
syrups?
are a bunch of podcast listeners right now hoping that I'm going to push back hard on this, and I'm not.
No,
I've watched Star Wars as well.
I know that everyone, like some people love it.
Some
Like,
people really love it.
Listen, here's the other thing. Listen, I love tapioca pudding. Doesn't mean that everyone has to love tapioca pudding.
Those are the same thing.
Rice pudding too. I love that too. I know people don't like rice pudding.
They're coming out with a new Lego.
Don't push your Lego or your Lego Star Wars on me. I'm not going to push my tapioca.
They're coming out with
you.
a new pudding line for Lego, just like Star Wars. Those are the same thing. Oh, okay, let me get this in. This is actually important.
Okay.
Damar Hamlin. We were talking about him. Obviously, everybody knows the situation by now. Buffalo Bills safety. Had that episode that he went into cardiac arrest and had to be transported to the hospital in Cincinnati. Doctors, this is from Adam Schefter. Doctors said after Damar Hamlin awakened last night, he asked in writing who won the game. Doctors told him, yes, you won. You've won the game of life. Really puts everything into perspective with sports, especially football. And like, I talked about this on the Patreon. We've been recording a lot of Patreons lately.
Two.
But I was talking with Spencer Martin about it. That was just who I ended up talking to about it on the Canucks game day on Tuesday when I was there in the morning. And like, I could see when I was talking to Spencer about it that it was just like, holy cow. Like, again, I'm not trying to speak for Spencer or say I know exactly what he was thinking, because I didn't press because it was a game day, and like, I don't really talk to goaltenders on game days because they don't usually like to talk on game days. But like, I was just chatting with him about that incident, and yeah, it is tough for anybody to watch that. But I was also thinking, like, as a pro athlete watching that, just all that sort of stuff. And anyways, I don't know where I'm going with this. I talked about it more on the Patreon, but yeah,
I was too young to know. But the Chris Pronger thing, like when he got, I didn't know, the shot looks like it hits him right in the heart, and same kind of deal, right? I'm not a doctor, I'm not gonna say, but it sounded like it was a similar situation. Yeah, that was tough to watch. But it sounded like there was some good news today, right? Did you say that he was grasping his family member's hands?
Yes,
like he was moving his hands, which
that
is a huge
as
note.
well from the Bills. I'm gonna pull up the exact tweet.
What a horrendous situation just down there as well in the football game. And I know, I had to block Skip Bayless again. I had Skip Bayless unblocked for 4 minutes.
You had that really, really good that you had him blocked for all those years, because he was the only account that you had blocked.
Yeah, now I have three accounts blocked.
Yeah. Okay, so I quickly wanted to. Is that you?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay. Regardless, I quickly wanted to get this in about what the Bills said. They said Damar is moving his hands and feet at this moment. The best outcome for him is to return to who he was before this happened. That's from Dr. William Knight, the fourth. That's a cool name. Not to get distracted and lose track of what's actually important here. But yeah, a good sign for Damar Hamlin for sure.
Okay, well, let's get into switch gears here back to hockey a little bit. We were going to do the trade tree off the top, but Randip Janda is going to join us here in just a matter of moments. So we'll talk about the trade tree after. I think that's going to take a little bit more time. Let's touch on the Avalanche coming to town tonight, because an Avalanche team, and if we can get the lineup up here, Aaron, that would be great. What the Avalanche are going to look like. You got Nate McKinnon back to the lineup, right? He's been rolling for a little bit here with this Avalanche team, but they've lost 4 games in a row after Christmas break coming in tonight. So they're going to be a desperate team tonight.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
I'm not sure who tweeted this out, which reporter it was in Colorado that posted the picture. A little voice crack there. Nate McKinnon kind of gathered everybody at center ice, and they had like a team players only meeting on the ice at practice where they just huddled around Nate McKinnon. And I'm not sure what he was talking about. I'm not sure if it was about your guys' eating habits aren't good. We need more chickpea pasta in this locker room, or what it was. But regardless, you're going to get a motivated Colorado Avalanche team. I think it's very safe to say that. Now, what I find really interesting about this game, Chris, and we'll talk to Randip about this as well, color commentator on the radio at Sportsnet 650, going to be joining us. I want to talk about Bruce Boudreau's comments after the game, which conveniently weren't posted on Twitter from the Canucks Twitter account. The one game you can't go to because you're too sick to attend. And we had to read the quotes elsewhere, which is fine. But basically what Boudreau said was, I can't be out there blocking shots for the goalie. And again, we talked about it yesterday. The Canucks giveaways, the Canucks block shots, lots of giveaways, not a lot of block shots, not a great recipe for success. Boudreau was basically separating himself from the team, which this got pointed out by a lot of people, and said, like, he's had enough. He's quite clearly had enough. And then on Wednesday, he came in and he didn't walk back what he said, but he did take a lot more accountability. And he said, like, hey, it's my job to get these guys motivated. It's my job to make sure these guys are playing up to their potential. And right now it's not happening. Kind of talked about how he needs to keep his players accountable. So I'm really interested to see. And Kyle Burrows, who funny enough, isn't in the lineup tonight, I don't think. But Kyle Burrows defended Boudreau and said nobody's stopped playing for him. We still like him and it's fine. And again, this isn't a criticism of Kyle Burrows. This is just, we keep hearing things and seeing the opposite, right? If you care about Bruce Boudreau, not Kyle Burrows specifically, because he's like one of the only players that isn't actually given a choice.
Yeah.
If you care about Bruce Boudreau like you say you do, and you still want to play for him, and you still care about him as a coach and everything like that, go show it. Like, go out there and do it. And again, not a criticism of Kyle Burrows, because he says stuff like this and isn't even given a chance to back it up. But we hear the same lip service. Again, not a criticism of Kyle Burrows. We hear the same lip service all over the place in this locker room. And what we see on the ice is completely different. Like, again, we talk about the word unacceptable a lot in this market, right? This is acceptable. This is what is now acceptable, right? That we're not going to rehash this. We're not going to rehash this. But I just wanted to say that I'm interested to see, because you've got a motivated.
But tonight's the night where you make it unacceptable.
That's right.
That's the night.
That's
After
right.
your coach comes out and blames himself, go out and be a player. Be accountable.
You've got a motivated Colorado Avalanche team coming into town.
I like the comment in here, because of Nate McKinnon. It's a very hungry team. It's from Commander Vander in the chat here.
Yeah, because he took away all of their snacks. But you've got a motivated.
And by the way, Commander Vander in the chat, who's always here, change the name. I'm not changing the name when I bring up the text.
Yeah,
Delvier, you're saying Commander Vander.
Yeah, I was going to keep it as Commander Vander. But you've got a motivated Colorado team coming into town. You've got a Canucks team who you hope can actually show some accountability for the effort that they turned in on Tuesday and the subsequent trashing, I would say, that Bruce Boudreau dished out after the game on Tuesday. With that, we're going to get to our guest, Randip Janda. All of our guests brought to you by the great folks over at Zephyr Epic. You can use promo code Hockey Season, capital H, capital S, all one word, Hockey Season. That'll get you $5 off your order.
Pokemon cards, sports cards, everything.
Okay, Randip's waiting. We can't go through your Pokemon collection.
No, go through the whole. You got a Charizard? What's going on here, man?
This Pokeball right here.
Oh, geez.
Hell of a steal. Randip, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. We know a lot about each other, but I didn't realize the Pokemon thing was. I work with you. I see you at practice, everything. I didn't realize Pokemon was the thing, man.
Oh man, you haven't seen enough of the live shows, because I've been. I pull this out every once in a while. This is the original binder right here, the original 151 in here.
Wow. All right. Okay.
He's been instructed by his employer to not bring his Pokemon cards to the rink, so that's why you haven't noticed.
Yeah. Quads, you gotta. That's awesome. Awesome, boys.
Randip, big game tonight. Avalanche in town. It's going to be an interesting one. They're coming in on a 4-game losing streak. We saw that meeting at center ice, and somebody were joking in the chat saying it was just, McKinnon, now that he's back in the lineup, he's talking about the diets of the guys. But tonight it feels like two teams that are going to be hungry going into this game. When you look at what the Avalanche are going to be able to come in here, they want to still be able to, call themselves a playoff team, which is wild to say up to this point in the season. But what are you expecting from Vancouver after the way that we've heard Bruce Boudreau talk over the past few days here? I don't know, man. Like, I feel like there should be a lot of pressure on the players tonight.
Oh, totally. And you guys were talking about Boudreau's comments after the last game where, he effectively ripped into them, saying the adversity, when it comes up, these guys have no pushback. I can't be out there doing these things. We have to tell them what to do, and they got to execute. But you saw and you heard a different tone yesterday. It was kind of like, going back to your days as like kids, right? Your parents would maybe get mad at you one day, and the next day they take that softer tone. That's what Boudreau was doing tonight. This really comes down to, do your best players show up? Because if you contrast this against Colorado, they got Nate McKinnon back. Mikko Rantanen's having a great year. Even though there's a bunch of guys in that bottom six that have 0 points this season, who've played 9 games, 10 games, the top dogs in Colorado are most likely going to show up. And if Colorado wins this game, it's probably going to be because their best players are showing up. Outside of Bo Horvat last game, yeah, there's not really much going on. A lot of games this year, it's been Elias Pettersson and nobody else. So to me, what it comes down to is, you're going to need an effort through line 1 to 4, but really, what does that Elias Pettersson JT Miller combination look like, right? That's the line that we're expecting to see based on what we saw in practice. So can you get JT Miller going? Can you get that top end of the lineup to really produce? Because yes, defense is important for JT and he wants to be a defensive player, guys, but look at the point totals right now. They're starting to dry up for this guy. The confidence is not there. So if the Canucks want to win this tonight, I think EP40 and number 9 in the Canucks jersey is going to have to be huge today, because you're going against Nathan MacKinnon, who had a goal and an assist last game himself. He's fired up. They're pissed off on the other side. They're ready to go. The Canucks are going to have to match that.
The heat's been turned up in this market, especially after that Tuesday night loss, Randip. We're talking about, it's going to be such an intense game tonight. The Canucks stars need to match up. How much of an indictment is it on this team if they come out and turn in a stinker tonight?
I think it's a huge indictment, but what's been the classic story with this team? 60 minutes, right? So even if you start the game well, like the fact that you have a good start, it's not enough for this team anymore, especially considering their record is the exact same as it was after 37 games last year. For everything that's happened in a year, regime change, everything, you're still there. So to me, yeah, the start is important. You want to set the tone, but what have we seen in the last couple of games? Early leads, they don't mean anything really for this team. You have to keep it going. So I think we're well past the how do they look at the beginning of the game. It's going to be, all right, if you have a good start, like you did against the Islanders, you get that 1-0 lead. And when Nathan MacKinnon, when, Rantanen, when these guys start to push back and they come with their haymakers, can you stand in there and can you take one on the chin? If you crumble again, that's what you don't want to see. So to me, it's not about the start. It's about, hey, if you have a good 10 minutes, maybe in the second period, halfway through, they have a penalty call that goes their way and you allow a goal. How do you respond? Because this team hasn't been able to do that, not only in the last 3 games, but let's go back at the beginning of the year. Remember those multi-goal leads and the historic pace? That was an issue at that point too. So to me, it's about the volatility within the group. And that really comes down to every single player trusting each other. And going back to the last game against New York Islanders, guys, when you saw players like Luke Schenn just go all the way to the left-hand side when Matt Barzal was going at him and occupying space that was already occupied by another Canucks player, that tells you about trust. And until they can actually trust each other on the ice, it's going to be difficult to take those mistakes away. So to me, it's the volatility in this team and the trust factor.
The volatility is very clearly seen, I think, a lot in JT Miller's defensive play as well. And that's what I'm going to find so interesting about tonight is, listen, Randip, you do the call for all of their games. You see this. Normally after the game, you're talking, at least Pettersson played good, right? At least Pettersson was giving it his all defensively. Tonight's going to be interesting because they're going to be on the same line together. And though I don't think Pettersson is the most vocal leader of this group, I think on the ice, he's the number 1 leader on this team. And it's going to be an interesting clash to me of leadership of, listen, we go into the locker room, we hear JT Miller all the time. He's one of the loudest guys in that locker room. Sure. Tonight, you're going to see them have to play together, and Miller's going to have to be, held accountable, not from a voice or from, a coach or anything. He's going to be held accountable because of the play of Elias Pettersson. So that's how I can see it either really clicking or this could go really south. Like if this doesn't work out tonight and there's something that JT Miller does that ruins the Elias Pettersson line, we're talking about another big negative story for this team. So this could really go either way tonight.
Yeah, it's an interesting move here by Bruce Boudreau, because if we talk about, going back, I think it was November 2nd, I want to say 2019, maybe 2020. I forget which year it was. COVID really, we don't remember anything anyways. But remember, it was a Colorado game and it was a high scoring game. It was the Lotto line putting up points against this team, and Vancouver ended up winning. And what was the classic? That was showing what these guys can do together at the best of times, right? And now fast forward a couple of years, these guys haven't played together so much. The Lotto line is not happening, but we're in such a different situation where Elias Pettersson established himself as the best 2-way forward on this team, and it ain't particularly close. So it's an interesting move in the sense that, yes, you're getting, JT Miller to play alongside him. And Faber, you're right. This could be either work out really well and it motivates Miller to be that much better and he really elevates his game, or it's going the other way where you start to see maybe some flaws. Now, the wing here, and I think playing on the wing is important for JT Miller, because when do you do that? When a player is not confident. And with JT Miller's game, maybe not the person, but the player hasn't been all that confident in the last few games, and we've seen that. And you also want him to, kind of use his size and his speed, which coming off the wing, if you're going to be aggressive, you're allowed to do that. You can't, maybe take a little bit more of a chance playing on the wing. So I'm with you. I think playing with Elias Pettersson, it could go really well, or it could go the other way, especially if the defensive commitment's not there. But sometimes you see coaches do this a lot. You saw Pettersson when he was struggling. They put him on the wing just to try to get that mojo going. And I've generally liked JT Miller on the wing better, but I do wonder about that chemistry. You don't see Miller and Pettersson playing next to each other very often, so it's anybody's guess on how they play tonight.
Could be really good, could be really bad. It's almost like,
Yeah.
to me, it feels like when you put JT Miller out in overtime. It's like you're either going to win or you're going to lose, right? It's like that situation. But I heard you talking about this the other day in a post game about Will Lockwood and liking his game. What have you liked so far in these last little stretch here? Because listen, he's come up, he's had some NHL games. This past kind of 2-month stretch here in the AHL, confidence just glowing and dripping off this kid the way he's been playing in the AHL. Comes up here and he's doing a lot of the similar things, but to me it feels like it's with just like an extra more professional level. Like we've seen him be a guy who goes in on the forecheck really hard, but I've really liked him in his kind of return to the NHL lineup here. What have you seen so far with Lockwood?
Yeah, I think with him, we've always liked the package, right? In the sense that he's got the speed, he's got the fearlessness, he's going to engage. And it was a question of, all right, can he put all these things together and can he utilize it on the ice and not make those mistakes? Now, I've just seen a better player in terms of more of sound all-around game. And when you get elevated, and I understand how Bruce Boudreau works, he's looking for, a lot of coaches will do this. Who's going right now? All right, elevate him up to the first line. And, the ability to move up there and play that's a trust thing. You don't just get elevated because, hey, we need something different on that line. So to me, what I've liked about his game, small sample size thus far, he's got to keep it going. That's what being a pro is, especially at the NHL level. But I think just the ability to build that confidence in the AHL, and you guys have watched him, of course, picking up more points, but just having the trust in his all-around game, where previously we'd say, Will Lockwood's got the puck on his stick, and it looks like he's going to get blown up a couple of times in a game. And that was my fear with him early on in his career was, all right, this guy, he's good, but I worry about his health because maybe the head's down, maybe he's not aware of what's going on around him or who's on the ice. He just looks stronger that way. And of course, the forecheck, the fearlessness is still there, but I just think he's more aware and he fits, that hockey sense that if you want to talk about it from that perspective, it just looks stronger this time up.
Randy, what have you made of Brock Besser's game this year? Like we talked about the lotto line, and there hasn't even really been much talk in the market of, hey, maybe put these three back together, because it just doesn't look like Brock Besser's going to be able to bring what he used to bring to that line. What have you thought of Brock Besser this year?
Yeah, I think, every 10 to 15 games, it feels like we're doing a Brock Besser check-in in this market. And that goes back a couple of years now, right? Based on his shot, based on his health. Obviously, he's had a rough couple of years on a personal side too, which we can all understand. But when it comes to this year, two things, right? We've seen Brock in certain aspects in certain previous years it's been too inconsistent, but there's been elements of, okay, certain games he's got jump. And you're like, all right, that's the Brock Besser we need to see. I haven't seen that Brock Besser in some time. I don't see that in his skating. The other thing is, and just, getting ready for the last few games, you always keep in mind of, what does Bruce Boudreau say about Brock Besser every single time he's asked about him? Brock needs to shoot more. He needs to go back to being the guy that was playing when I got to Vancouver, is what Boudreau says. If you look at those shot totals, boys, they're low. This to me right now is yet again, unfortunately, a player that doesn't look that confident. So the fact that we're not even clamoring for the lotto line in this market tells you that I don't think Brock Besser's his confidence there, his game is not there. And certain aspects of this, you start looking at, and when we talk about puck management, it's not only a defensive issue. We're seeing wingers, cough up the puck as well. I've noticed Brock's done that a few times in pretty questionable areas, whether it's in the defensive zone or in the neutral zone. So I just don't see a confident player right now, and that's unfortunate because he was confident coming into the season, saying he was going to score 30. But that's looking like a huge stretch right now, unless he goes on a heater of all heaters.
Yeah, absolutely. Randy, we used to always do this with the old show, especially during the pandemic when there was no hockey to talk about. But I want to talk to you about the new job you got with 650. You're doing great on color. How have you liked it so far?
Yeah, no, this is thanks for the kind words. And it's something that, I love doing. Batch is one of the best in the business. So the ability to do that and cover the team that in my home city, it's awesome. And it's cool because Batch and I've done games with them in the past as well, so this is not totally new. But man, it's funny because we joke about this off air, but good guy, we have a great relationship, but he's a Red Sox fan, I'm a Yankees fan. He's a Manchester United fan. I'm an Arsenal fan. Like almost opposite in every single way, but everything. It's been great, and just being in the building every single night, and being able to call the game and follow in the footsteps of the Tom Larsheids in the world and the Hershey's of the world, and of course just the ability to do that's special to me. So I love it. And half of the season it feels like it's just gone by super quickly, but really enjoying it, man. And it's growing up in the city, it's one of those things. You watch those guys do their thing on radio and TV. Cheech, of course, who's the legend and is always giving me tips. And when I'm asking for him, it's awesome to be in that role now and really be able to cover the team I grew up watching and cheering.
Well, luckily for all of us, the Red Sox haven't had a great offseason, so Batch hopefully won't be able to talk about much next year at the rink.
No, for sure. Yeah, no, and they gave all the money to Rafael Devers too. So,
oh my gosh, don't even get me started. Yeah, Xander Bogaerts to the Padres. Just we'll talk about it at the rink. Randip, thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate it.
Cheers, boys. Have a good one.
There he is, Randip Janda, joining us there. Hear him on the broadcast tonight for Sportsnet 650.
Randip's so fun to talk to.
Like quickly before they
go.
do because I like the rink wide boys for the post game. But Randip, right after the game, catch him on 650.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just leaving the game, you got your headphones. Randip's always doing a hit with Sat and Bick or whoever's on there.
Yeah. So okay.
What?
Well, no disrespect to Sat or Bick who do the post game show.
I think so too. I don't know if we can get back to that camera angle too, but my camera was leaking into yours a little bit.
That was so funny. I was
gonna punch. If your head was just close enough, my fist, because I got the green screen behind me, we can legit look like I'm punching you. I almost wanted
just
to
confuse Randip.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, "Hey, Randip, stay on the line for a second. We got this green screen going."
Oh, jeez. No, Randip, a lot of fun to talk to. And hey, since he's taken on the job as the color commentator, we've seen him at the rink. He wasn't at the rink last year as much. Like he would show up, but he would be at the radio station. So we would always see Batch, but now we're seeing and Hershey would sometimes be there. Corey Hirsch would sometimes be there, but we're seeing Randip. I see him all the time at the rink now. Good guy to talk to. And yes, he wears a Yankees hat.
I'll show you. This is me and Randip. Randip and I special thing here. The pistachio. Oh, you can't see them because they're green. Damn it! Okay. Oh, there's green candy in there. Pistachios.
Yeah. Okay.
You can't tell, but me and Randip are lint pistachios.
All of our guests, once again,
we crush those at the rink.
Brought to you by Zephyr Epic, who funds my co-host Pokemon addiction.
$2 at Value Village. I got this Pokeball for.
But go check out Zephyr Epic. They've got the retail location in Surrey. That's ZEPHYR Epic. Check them out on all platforms. Like I said, free shipping Canada-wide, anywhere Canada-wide, on any order over $50.
Fridays with Harm as well, brought to you by Zephyr Epic. I got no two cities today. I got too much work to do around here.
Yeah.
But Harm's going to be here tomorrow, by the way.
Okay.
Making his triumphant return to the show. And you get a Friday.
That's right.
You had to work last Friday, and I tell you what, dealing with you last weekend, holy cow.
I was good last weekend.
You're on one last weekend.
Oh, well, last weekend.
I
had to work a little extra, yeah. Anyways, the prospect report.
Let's go back to the trade tree. We have a little bit of time here before the show wraps up because I wanted to spend a little bit of time here on this.
I was hoping to just get my weekend started.
I know. Your Thursdays, we could be out of here at 1:20. You'd be happy. I'm surprised you were like, "Oh, I got a couple more for Randip." I'm like, "Okay."
Well, yeah, you're like trying to rush Randip out.
No, you were trying to
trade tree.
Yeah, as you're trying to get out the door here in the next 2 minutes. Okay, let's talk about the pending UFAs. Let's talk about what draft capital the Canucks currently have. Okay, Not much. They have this coming draft. They have a first, a second, a third, 2 fourths, and a 6th. They lost the 5th round pick in the Bear trade. They lost the 7th round pick in the OEL Garland trade. So they're short a draft pick in general there. They have a couple of fourths, so that's good, right? You got 5 picks in the first 4 rounds. That's fine. 2023, you're missing that 2nd round pick in the Dickinson trade. for the Stillman trade. So you're a little short there. You're short in both years by 1 pick. You want to be able to add prospects, and you want to have high picks. Obviously, it's unfortunate that they're missing their 2nd round pick in 2023, but they have some pending UFAs that can start to return you some draft capital. The Canucks should be going into the next 2 drafts with more than 7 draft picks. Okay, right now, currently, they have 6 in each of these 2 upcoming drafts. With these pending UFAs that you have, you can definitely generate enough value in the trade market to have more than 7 picks in both of these upcoming drafts.
And you have to.
And you have to.
We had the idea of, the quads plan, right? I want to call it the quads and Faber plan because I was telling you
yours.
today.
It's all yours.
Yeah, but I was telling you today, I just
you
throw
told
out
me
certain
today, you're like,
parts
let's
of
do the
it.
quads and Faber plan. I was like, I don't like that. Let's do your plan.
Here's the thing:
Keep
is
it
I always
yours.
throw out different parts of it, and you wanted me to lay it out. It's hard for me to lay it out as a full plan. Like I haven't written it out. I just see things that I'm like, yeah, that fits my plan. So my plan is kind of like not actually written
Just
out.
smart moves.
It just lives in my head.
Okay.
But part of the quads plan
Here we
is
go.
to get some picks, get some draft picks. And again, like we had this conversation yesterday. Again, not to sound like a broken record, but we talk about, the stealth tank. This team's losing games right now, okay? You take Bo Horvat out of the equation, it is going to hurt this team.
Yeah.
And that is a move that this team should be making. Like, you're not necessarily going into this full-fledged scorched earth rebuild that everybody's so scared of for some reason. And when I say everybody, I don't mean fans, I mean other people. You're not going into this full rebuild. You're making one smart rebuilding move. Like, it's a move that represents rebuilding because what you have isn't enough. And that's the problem with the verbiage of build, build, build. We're building, we're building, we're building. Your foundation is made of these paper straws that have been soaked in iced tea for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you've got right now as your foundation. And you're trying to build a castle out of that.
Yeah, and it's like the ability of this organization to actually rebuild.
Yeah.
Like to actually see an actual rebuild through this has been the Guter Tab Demerang in a sense of it's been catastrophic to the future that they will not be able to commit to. They can't they need to take the step back. They need to take the step back
and
to get the step forward.
A step back, Chris, isn't a scorched earth rebuild. Like it's not a rebuild. It is with smart decision making. Here's another analogy for you. Filling all the holes.
Oh, here we go.
All the
No
holes in your boat and your team. You're slowly but surely filling these holes. Like, look at the team coming to town tonight. Okay, and if you're listening to this on Thursday, we don't know what's happening in
the way you're
listening to it beyond Thursday.
I need to pull it because I just did the word of the day and people caught it there. But this is a perfect example of the rebuild that you're talking about. This is actually a very good word of the day description for what the Canucks rebuild has been. It's catastrophic, violence and disorder, a downfall. This is what this word actually describes the Vancouver Canucks pretty well. Guter Damerang. Guter Dameron.
That's not even English.
That's what I said. I just got 2 umlauts on there.
We got to talk to Nils Höglander about how to say that. Because you know what we learned with Nils Höglander is that the umlaut with the O is pronounced like it's Höglander.
Höglander. That's what I say every time.
Yeah. But
that's a good word to describe the Canucks right there. I'm just saying. Guter Damerung. Guter Dameron.
Okay.
Tried to sneak it in. I told people yesterday on the show that word is going to be tough to sneak in.
Yeah,
I had to write out a paragraph.
Pretty good job.
I had to write a paragraph out.
Almost got by me. I was like, wait, Faber doesn't say words with that many syllables.
No. There's a good one tomorrow.
That's going to piss off your grandma that I just said that.
Yeah, here you go. Call me dumb again.
But
here's the thing. Aside from Horvat, okay, let's talk about it. So
sure.
The Canucks, we just laid out the draft picks that they had. They're missing a pick this year. They're missing a pick next year. What does Horvat get you?
Okay.
A first and something else, or a first and I think they're going to go for players and a first.
Okay. And that's fine. Like, to an extent, that is fine because the most also someone pointed out that has the phonetic spelling right below it. It can tell you how to pronounce it correctly.
No, that's how I wrote it in here too.
Okay. Anyways, sorry, just to not interrupt myself.
But
again.
Also like the phonetics.
Let me see it. I can help you.
What does an upside down E sound like?
I'll show you.
What the hell does an upside down E sound like?
It matters what's around the word. Yeah, so it's Gerter. It's not Goater. It's Gerter. Gerter Demerun.
Well,
you don't pronounce the G.
Gerter Dameron.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot better.
Actually.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, what was I completely... Oh, yeah, sorry.
Trade.
Okay, so here's the thing.
You're going to actually get back here.
The traditional trade deadline package, the one we saw offered for JT Miller last year with Hedel, Lundqvist, and a first, is a prospect, a young roster player, sometimes just a roster player.
Mhm.
Usually it's a young roster player, especially for a team like the Canucks. You can bet that they're going to target a young roster player. And a pick, a first round pick, a prospect. That's what you're looking at. That's your traditional trade deadline package.
Right.
And a prospect, of course, right? Those 3 items. I think the Canucks would be very happy to go with just that. Now, I don't think that you need to look at this situation and say, well, the Canucks need to get 2 first round picks, because like you absolutely could, but look at the teams around the league who would be able to offer that at the deadline, and you're shrinking your suitors by a lot,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
Because presumably you want it in 2023 and 2024. Obviously you could get a 2025, but even then, like there's teams that are going to be looking to add Bo Horvat. You're going to shrink your potential suitors if you're that steadfast on having that as your price. We need multiple first round picks. I think adding 1 first round pick is a necessity. Now, we have heard reports in the past and rumors, the little whispers that go on, that the Canucks are looking for, we want a young center and a young right shot D-man. Okay, well, if you're looking for both of those things in trade, you're probably not going to get one who's very great at anything.
Like, just go effing draft one.
So
go do that.
And that's the thing that I think a lot of people will say.
Draft one in the 2nd round. Draft one in the 3rd round. Draft right D every freaking pick.
Like,
that's not in the first round.
Let's use Colorado as an example. They're in town tonight. Young defenseman, young center. Oh, well, we would like Alex Newhook and we would like Bowen Byram. Colorado's not giving you that.
Hell no.
No chance. For what could very well be a rental in Bo Horvat, Colorado's not giving up that. But are they giving up Newhook, a late first, because that's when their pick is, and a B or C level prospect? Are they giving up that? I think you're starting to get results.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a first round pick, which you could potentially turn into something. And again, like, I know it doesn't look great for Jonathan Lekkerimäki right now, but there's value, especially in this draft. There's value drafting 15th and beyond. There's value there. Now, that is not to say that the Canucks should be, don't worry if you don't tank. You should be competing as hard as you can so that you can go out and, if you draft 20th, it's fine. No, the Canucks' first pick that they make should be in the top 10 because of where they are in the standings right now. And hell, it would be great if they got into that top 3. Absolutely. Like, that should be the goal for this team right now. And I think by trading Bo Horvat,
best thing that could happen to this team right now.
By trading Bo Horvat, you're taking a lot away from this team to get them to that point where they aren't going to be able to compete, and they're not going to be able to finish 17th overall and just tank the team's draft position. They're not going to be able to do that. You need to take steps towards being bad enough to actually get a high draft pick, because it's been too long that this team hasn't been able to do that. And when you make a Bo Horvat trade, I don't think you need to get multiple firsts, Chris. I really don't. I think you're going to limit yourself too much, and all of a sudden you're going to end up in the same position where you go, okay, well, we're thinking there's going to be something better at the draft, and no, we're not going to be able to trade him at the draft. Forget it. Let's just re-sign him. You're risking a lot by waiting. I don't even like that the team seems like they're waiting until February. This trade should be done tomorrow. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting to see?
I'll push back on that, because I think that, and I'm half pushing back. I'm pushing back on half your idea. I think the Canucks in this trade, and you touched on it, it sounds like, they're interested in looking for a center. They're interested in looking for a right D. You need so much for this organization that you can't be picking and choosing. You need to get the most value possible. So that's where I'm pushing back on. You don't need to do this deal tomorrow. You need to do this deal when the biggest package that comes across your table is there.
You know what? That's fair.
Listen, what day is it today? January 5th.
But here's the
thing, though. Let me just finish this. January 5th, I guarantee to you that there have been trade offers for Bo Horvat.
Yep.
In the past, at least month, at least few weeks, things must have been heated up. Teams are calling and asking. They have to be. They have to be. He's the number 1 guy on Frank Saravalli's trade target list. Frank's going to join us next week, by the way. We'll get a lot of good info out of him for sure. But just wait. It's the biggest deal possible. That's the thing you need to do. You can't be picking and choosing at this point, okay? Sure. You can't do that. You're not. But you know what? The Canucks would want to, because that's the way they've been operating, though. It's like, but if we get that right D piece, maybe then that's the thing that works for this team to get to the playoffs. Maybe that's what we're missing. And it's like, no, you need to rebuild. It's so you need to rebuild. It's so clear. You can't pick and choose right now. You need to get the biggest package possible. I don't care if it's wingers at this point, man. If it's really good young wingers that you're excited about and they're going to bring the most to your NHL team in 3-4 years, that's what you should go for. Right now, it's at such a base level of needing to build things up. And then you have prospect capital. They have no prospect capital.
I agree with you. Like, I agree with you that you need the biggest package possible. Absolutely. Because that's what's going to fill the biggest holes on this team.
Yeah. No, that's right. You're back to your freaking holes again. Eh?
Well, you're right. Like,
right.
it's an interesting choice of words, but the biggest package is going to fill the biggest holes on this team.
Let's get to the prospect report.
But you're right. In all seriousness, I'll try to keep it together here.
Yeah, you're done for the week.
No, well,
Prospect
you
report.
do see these trades, and you think like, okay, well, the Canucks probably looked at that Rangers offer and said, well, we'll get something better. So I get it. Like, again, let's be clear here. As far as I know, that trade offer didn't come minutes before the deadline.
No,
or
that was January.
That was January.
Yeah.
That came in January. So if you get another deal where you say, okay, you know what? We're going to wait and see. We're going to wait and see what comes across. Like, you got to have a good read on the market right now.
I've heard of, like, a lot of the insiders are talking about, like, the Horvat deal doesn't get done until, closer to the deadline. I don't know. I look at the All-Star break and I think that's a really good time for a player to get settled. Like, a really good time for a player to get settled, be around this new team that he's with. Listen, Horvat's going to be an All-Star, right? Like,
yeah,
he's going to be an All-Star. He's third in goals in the NHL. But I think that a team's going to look at that, and the teams are going to be smart. They don't have to wait till the deadline now. I think it could happen before that break. I think it could happen this month. Wouldn't shock me at all.
Okay. Let's get to the prospects.
Whole talk?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. Quick prospects update. Let's just pull it up here, Aaron. The Philip Johansson goal, please. Right shot defenseman. He's coming over next year. Another goal for him in the SHL. This one's a beauty. I want to see the other angle on here. It's going to get to it. Yeah, right here. Nice shot by Phil Johansson. Comes in on 2-1. Wrist shot right into that top corner. Yeah, I think he's going to do well in the AHL, this guy, Phil Johansson. So we'll have to see. Jonathan Lekarmaki, he had an assist today in the first Sweden goal. I've seen a lot of people in the chat keeping us updated because, yeah, we can't watch the game right now. I'll go back and watch it later tonight. But did want to mention that I really liked Danila Klimovic and Jet Wu last night in Abbotsford. Both were excellent. And your boy, Quads, Artie Seelovs, stopped the first 31 shots of the game last night against the Wranglers. Let in a couple in the third period, but he was excellent throughout. Stopped the first 31 shots he faced. That Wranglers team was all over. And the goals they scored, like, just kind of breakdowns defensively. That was tough for Abbotsford, but Seelovs was very good again last night. So good little showing for him. Let's get to our Betway bets of the day, Betway wrap-up. You want to do the bets again today? You did a good job the other day.
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's see you do it.
Okay.
I'll just add tidbits here and there.
What's going on with the Betway thing at the bottom? It's like
There you go.
halfway full. Oh, there we go. The Betway wrap of the day. These are the Betway bets of the day from Faber over there. JT Miller just scored 2+ points tonight against Colorado Avalanche. You get that at 250 odds. The other one is the Vancouver Canucks to win on the money line, over 6.5 total goals, and Elias Pettersson to
there you
score
go. $10 down. That'll return you 85.
Plus 750 odds.
You can go get a haircut in downtown Vancouver because
I'm going a haircut.
I'm going for a haircut. It's $85 to get my damn haircut. So this bet better hit tonight.
All right. 19+ play if you choose to play.
And people people say I look like
responsibly.
Yeah, play responsibly. I look like a football coach. Does anyone not
high school football?
This
coach.
visor, blow it up here, Aaron. This is a custom visor. I've showed it off a few times here. Look at that. All three of us in the back in the car. My old car. It's a one of a kind visor there. That's a custom one time only deal.
Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah, my hair's a little out of control here. It's time for a cut.
Wrap it up there. Running a little late. We'll wrap it up there for my co-host Chris Faber.
Yeah, have a good weekend, Quads.
And our technical producer Aaron Burdado, name you can trust. Our thanks to Randip Janda of Sportsnet 650 for joining us. My name is Dave Quadrelli. This has been the Canucks Conversation.
Thanks for listening to Canucks Conversation, delivered by DoorDash. Hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode.
How about keep it to a thank you, Jim?